Hello, everyone. Can you hear me out there? Let me know in the chat. Hooray! Excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Ashwell, and I am the organizer of the 2024 Interactive Fiction Competition. It is my absolute honor today to host this gathering of interactive fiction enthusiasts and to celebrate the winners of the 2024 IFComp. I see a lot of new Twitchers in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for getting an account so you could come hang out with us today. And maybe you're just new to this stream, but regardless, thanks for joining us. Before we get started with today's award ceremony, just a quick reminder. The Interactive Fiction Competition always strives to provide a safe and welcoming environment to interactive fiction creators and players of every kind, which includes all of you joining us for today's stream. And we hope we won't have any problems. We've got MathBrush moderating in the chat today. Thank you, Brian, for that. But we do need to say that any participants who are not nice, anybody who personally harasses another participant today could get muted, be given a temporary timeout, or might be booted from the ceremony. And we really don't want that to happen to anyone. So please just be excellent to each other. Thanks for treating each other well. I'd like to begin today by giving out some thank yous, as I generally do. This is not just the Jacqueline Show. It's a huge group effort. So I want to start by thanking the Interactive Fiction Technology Foundation, which you can learn more about at iftechfoundation.org. They do so much to support us, from site hosting to facilitating our cash prizes to helping us find volunteers, boosting our social media, just a whole bunch of stuff. I also get a lot of very personalized support from my interactive fiction competition committee. They are there for me throughout the year. Whenever I have a question, I'm contemplating adjustments to the competition, or otherwise dealing with anything difficult, they invariably have great sound advice and feedback. So thank you to my committee. I appreciate you. Many thanks to Hannah Ondrachek and Manoa Amora for assistance setting up, managing the private author forum that we have over on IntFiction, and for keeping a watchful eye on the forums generally. As many of you know, I am kind of a hermit who is not super online these days. So I value Hannon and Manon and others who are more online than me to let me know what I need to know about what's happening out there with respect to the competition. And speaking of which, this year we expanded our presence on social media to include Mastodon and Discord in addition to X and Tumblr. So thanks to our entire social media team for that work, especially Manon Amora and Perry Wade, and their great senses of humor. And by the way, this was not planned, but this morning they got the bright idea, and I hope it's going well, or it will go well. It hasn't started yet, maybe. They're going to try to live tweet, live X, live Mastodon. I don't know what the word is anymore, but they're going to put the results out on social media as we reveal them here. So if you miss something in the stream or you come in late or whatever, check us out on Mastodon or X, and the results should be populated there. And then after the whole stream is over, we will, of course, release all of the results at at ifcomp.org. Forgot my URL there for a second. A special thank you, of course, to our dev team, which this year was Mark Musante, who's been my lead for a few years now. He's fantastic. Kaltana, Danny Willis, Dan Fabulich. Together, they're a solid backbone of this competition. I'm sure you all can appreciate that the website and the software that runs it is kind of complicated. We're constantly trying to do things to make the experience better. Accessibility testing. This year, we've got a few things we're going to try to look at for next year as well. If you know Perl, Catalyst, you do front end, back end dev work, and you think you might be interested in helping us next year, please watch for the post-comp survey. I'll give a link at the end of this whole presentation. We would love more help so that we can keep bringing on more new features to the site. And oh my God, very special, very huge thanks. I've already mentioned these people, but they deserve a second shout out. These three people in particular have done so much for the comp this past year. Managing the competition is a ton of work. I absolutely could not organize this competition without them. Mark is always responsive, on top of implementing and facilitating new features to the site that you all see, but he's also this year really helped build out some administrative tools that have made my life a lot easier and made it so I had to ask him for less stuff. It's just more automated, and I am deeply, deeply grateful for that. Manon has just had tons of great ideas this year and has never been shy about sharing them. And in particular, she did an amazing job this year helping to promote our quest for the new artist commission for this year. Last year's artist commission was a struggle because, as I'm sure a lot of you know, there's a lot more generative AI art out there. And it actually was really hard for me last year to weed through all of that and find actual humans to commission. And so this year, Manon had a great idea of putting out a blast for artists and getting them to come to us, and they did, and there were like dozens of them. I am probably set for finding artists to commission for like the next few years, probably. So that's been huge, and yeah, I just really appreciate it. And then in terms of Brian, I feel like I've asked Brian to do so much this year, a lot of it fairly last minute, it seems like. He helped to train our new curators, which was great. He developed new tools for voting analysis and statistics. He helped me prepare a bit for this live stream. And he's the moderator, again, as I said this year, keeping eyes on the chat, I think for the third year running. And also, it is occurring to me just now, despite having done this presentation and run through it several times, that I'm not sure our curators got thank yous in the chat, but and I'm going to screw this up. But we had 3 new curators this year: Mike Russo, BJ Best, and Brett Whitty. I did not screw it up in addition to Brian. So if I already said that, then I'm saying it again. But those are our curators, and they do a really they help review all of the games as they come in so that if there's any rule violations and we have time to fix it rather than disqualify a game, they help with that. And it's amazing. So thanks for everybody for all of that work. And of course, thank you. Thanks to everyone who was an author, everyone who was a judge, and to all of you who donated prizes or contributed to our Colossal Fund. The interactive fiction competition, it wouldn't exist without the community here. And I love hearing all the feedback we get from you in places like the forums and here in the chat today. The community is really just what people, I think, love most about the competition, maybe second to the stories, but really it is the community. You all cast this year nearly 4,000 votes and wrote tons of reviews, and I thank you, and the authors also. Thank you. This year's gorgeous logo, it's so gorgeous. I love it. It was created by Lauren Davies. She was just an absolute delight to work with. You can see more of her portfolio by using the QR code on the screen or by visiting laurennovember.com. And if you would like some sweet interactive fiction competition swag, you can head over to Zazzle.com, search for IFComp. We have mugs and shirts and magnets this year. And the photo you're seeing, which I should have cleared some of the packaging off a little bit more, but that's a photograph of my IFComp shirt for this year and my latest and greatest IFComp coffee mug. I have a mug from every year. It's pretty great. So we've got that stuff on the store. If there's some other thing that you want, if you'd rather, I don't know, you want to throw rug, whatever it is, reach out to us at ifcomp@ifcomp.org. Just email us. I'm happy to put the logo on something else if it's something else that you'd rather have. Another little tip or trick for this is that Zazzle, they run sales all the time. So if you go to the site and there's not a sale happening, don't buy. Go back when there's a sale. There'll be a sale around Black Friday. There'll probably be another sale around the holidays. And authors, we've thrown in a few of these items into the prize pool as well. So you, if you're an author and you placed well, hold off before you buy something because you might be able to get it as a prize. And that actually reminds me, the slide that went missing not only had the curators, but it also had our prize coordinator for this year, Sarah Wilson, who's been doing a great job, and also to Andrew Plotkin, who runs our Colossal Fund. And just so that everybody knows, especially all the authors that are listening, Colossal Fund distribution happens pretty quickly in the days following the competition, provided that you gave me a paypal.com address, or I think a Venmo. I think we're doing Venmo this year. As long as that was updated in your profile. If you're not sure, you can email me about it. I will be emailing you if you didn't email me first. So we get that out pretty quickly, but then the tangible prizes, stuff like this swag, it takes a little while longer. It could take a few weeks because we have to go through or in order and speak to each person who finished and see what they want and then move on to the next person, and that can take a while. So that's how prize distribution works. Thanks for your patience there. All right. Let's get a little closer to the main event. Hopefully we've got everybody's filtering into the chat. Got over 100 people now. That's great. Let's talk about side contests, or at least one side contest. Let's talk about the golden banana of Discord. So this is awarded to the game with the highest standard deviation. So the author, this is a game that like the community just couldn't decide. They couldn't come to agreement on whether this was what they thought about it. You interpret standard deviation as you will, but a large standard deviation means that this author will have the opportunity to receive some sort of somewhat cool banana themed award. Maybe it will be a copy of Bananagrams. Last year it was a neon lamp shaped like a banana. Next year it could be a wearable flannel banana blanket. Anyway, something banana themed. And this year's Golden Banana of Discord game with a standard deviation of 2.59 was Latex Leather Lipstick Love Lust by The Body and the Blood. And that game, that author, may or may not also have placed in the top 20. And if they did, then you'll hear from them later. Spoilers, potentially. But anyway, stay tuned. There will be a couple of other side contest awards later in the ceremony. We'll reveal them when the time is right. But right now, let's sit back for a couple of minutes. Let's just relax, take in the names of all of the folks who put themselves out there and entered a game this year. They may not have made the top 20, but they still brought us some really great stories. All right, it's time for the top 20. In 20th place, with a score of 6.45 from 40 votes, a standard deviation of 2.09. You have been transported to a bizarre museum whose strangeness only grows the longer you remain. Find your way out of the twisting halls. Try to retain some sense of self for when you return to the real world. Congratulations to the Cryptic Conservatory. And I believe we do have one member of the conservatory here today. If you'd like to come on mic, hop in the chat or something and say a few words.
Yes, hello. This is Paxton. I got the exquisite ability to organize this project. This has been the largest collaboration I've ever been a part of. And I would like to very quickly shout out all of our wonderful contributors: Rachel Arbiton, Chris Pine, Ed Liu, Tony Owens Blue, Christy Kerr, Sean Song, Joshua Campbell, Don Swoka, Randy Hayes, Allison Gray, Shawnee E. Hadi, IF Coltransg, Dominic Nelson, Orion DeFull, and Artisode, Sissy Peng, Kazu Lupo, Divine Shadow, Robin Scott, Sarah Barker, David Garcia Morris, Benjamin Gear, Bent Ash, Charm Cochran, Tori Paxson, Elizabeth Morin, Zan Farley, Ghost Clown, Tavern Keep, Alex and Mia Parker, J. Isaac Gadiant. You have all been so supportive of this amazing, very strange work. And it is incredibly humbling to see it here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paxton. Congratulations to the whole group. Great job. In 19th place, with a score of 6.57 from 53 votes, with a standard deviation of 1.95. Be abducted by space aliens who want to give you some challenging tests. Maybe use the highly advanced course technology. How strong is your gland? Congratulations, Arthur. I think you're joining us on audio today, so feel free to come off mute, share some words for the crowd.
Hello, hello. Well, I just want to thank everybody who played. I hope those of you who played were able to enjoy it. And if I may, I just wanted to say that I'm kind of a long timer at this point. I've entered something in the last 11 years of competitions. So I just want to thank everybody for tolerating what feels like a sort of an endless series of experiments at this point. And I also want to thank Jacqueline and the team for doing everything. If you've never entered the competition, I don't know what you call it, like the back end, the forms where you enter all your stuff is it's really well designed. It's great and very easy to use. So thank you.
That's really kind of you to say. Thank you so much, Arthur. People in the chat said that they were having trouble hearing folks. I turned Arthur up a little bit. Okay. Great. Congratulations again, Arthur. And chat says that the sound is doing better. Okay, great. Appreciate you all in this grand experiment this year of bringing some of the authors on live. And many thanks to the authors who are brave enough to get on this Zoom call with me. All right. 18th place. With a score of 6.69 from 48 votes, with a standard deviation of 1.62. What secrets are concealed in the depths of a crumbling strip mall in the suburbs of Washington, D.C.? How is one supposed to open a desk drawer when the key's locked inside? Join Agent Larch Faraji, yes, Larch Faraji, as they unearth the answers to these questions and more. Congratulations, Phil. Want to come on to share a few remarks?
Hi, sorry about that. Excuse me. I'd like to thank everybody who has helped me out on the forums. A lot of this code started 2 years ago, and I got a lot of help from people like Zed Lopez and Otis T Dog and everyone else. And especially like to thank my wife Laura for putting up with months and months of obsessive inform coding. So thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Bill. That's really funny. And congratulations. '17th place. Score of 6.73 with 30 votes and a standard deviation of 1.84. Deep in King Thrall Caves, monsters dwell. Enter the caves, argue with the creatures from your nightmares, bring down the Hydra King, or fall in the attempt. Congratulations, Beth. Beth indicated that she could not be here today, and she asked me to share that she is honored and a little astonished to place in the top 20 for a competition so crowded with fantastic entries. She said it's been a wonderful and profoundly educational experience, and she'll be playing and pondering upon all these games for a long time to come. She'd like to thank everyone who took the time to play, rate, and/or review, and she's looking forward again to next year. Good job, Beth. '16th place. Score of 6.79 from 70 votes. The standard deviation of 1.91. Unfortunately, your favorite teacup has suddenly and mysteriously gone missing. It shouldn't be too hard to track down, though, right? Congratulations to Damon. Damon is in the chat today, or actually on audio today. Come off mic.
Wow, this is done way better than I expected. It was actually, I know people have talked a lot about uninteractive fiction, but this was my effort to get the Golden Banana of Discord this year, and it's kind of failed spectacularly in that respect. But wow, yeah, it's great to know people liked it.
Congratulations. '15th place. A score of 6.82, 118 votes, and a standard deviation of 1.78. You have 3 seconds to kill your former friend. The nuns and sacred algorithms have willed it, and no matter how much you want to save her, you can't. You Can't Save Her by Sarah Mack. Congratulations to Sarah. Sarah unfortunately could not join us today. She asked me to simply thank everyone for voting for her game. '14th place. A score of 6.85, 48 votes, standard deviation 2.13. The externality comes apart like something wet. Then the sun goes away and the rain comes, and you and I freeze in it, the translucent bluishness of our skin. Congratulations, Kit. I know you said you couldn't join us on voice, but if you'd like to share remarks in the chat, please do. Are you here in the chat? Give it just a beat. If not, Kit did also send remarks to me. Okay, so I don't see Kit, but Kit did send along remarks, and I'm going to read Kit's remarks that are pre-prepared verbatim. Thank you, Autumn, Daria, Danielle, Carolee, and everyone else who helped bring verses to life. I cherish this community and can't put into words how much I appreciate its thoughtfulness, care, and intelligence. Thanks so much for playing. The author concluded their remarks by saying, "Free Palestine." "13th place. With a score of 6.87, 60 votes, a standard deviation of 1.96. A painter has died. In their will, they have left you 7 paintings of your choosing. But which 7 will you choose? And what memories will these paintings stir up? Imprimatura by Elizabeth Ballou. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Unfortunately, Elizabeth had to work today. Womp womp. So that's a bummer. She can't be here, but she did send along some remarks. She wanted me to let you all know that this was her first time entering IFComp and that it was a pleasure. She learned so much from constructing her entry and playing other entrants' work. She sends a million thanks to her collaborators, artist Selena Constantine and Anna Link, and musician sound designer Ray Wang. Good job, Elizabeth. "12th place. A score of 6.91 from 43 votes with a standard deviation of 1.24. As a fresh graduate of the FBI Academy, you've been called to a small town struck by a series of suspicious deaths. Can you solve the mystery before the clock runs out?" Congratulations, Steve. Are you here and would you like to come on mic and say a few words? Steve wasn't sure that he could make it, so we may not have him on mic. But he did send along a few remarks if he couldn't be here. He asked me to thank all the players and judges who took the time to participate in the story. He hopes it was enjoyable for you to play, as enjoyable for you to play, rather, as it was for him to write. This game originated as a one-shot role-playing adventure, which he tabletopped for a few friends, and he realized it could work really well as a choice-based story game, and was pleased to find excellent tooling in the form of the Twine system. A big thanks to the makers of Twine, Chapbook, and to the game's digital playtesters. Congratulations, Steve. "11th place. Almost to the top 10. With a score of 7.08, 52 votes, standard deviation of 2.59. This game is going to hurt. If you think it's made just for you, it is. Congratulations, Latex, Leather, Lipstick, Love, Lust, The Body and the Blood. I believe you are on audio if you want to come on and say a few words.
Hey, this is the funniest thing I've ever done, I think. I submitted to IFComp just because my dev cycle lined up with it and I wanted to make some people angry. This is a game that was not for an IFComp crowd at all. It was for a very select group of people, and I just threw it in here because, again, I thought it'd be funny. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see that a lot of people actually connected with and even enjoyed it. Again, the fact that this is even close to the top 10 is astounding to me. I was expecting like 30th at least, but if it made it this high up, that means enough people who needed to play it did play it, and the rest of you are acceptable sacrifices. Signing off, this was Stanley Baxton, both The Body and the Blood. Good night.
Congratulations, Stanley. And that brings us to the top 10. Tenth place, with a score of 7.21, 61 votes, standard deviation of 1.47. Just after the last plane out of Antarctica leaves for the winter, someone turns up dead. You have 10 days until the next plane arrives. Can you bring the perpetrator to justice first? Congratulations, Emery. If you're here, please come on mic and say a few words. Okay, Emery wasn't sure they could make it and did send a few remarks in case they weren't here. They wanted to say thank you to everyone who played and enjoyed Winter Over. The authors are thrilled that it's been well received, especially since it's their first foray into the mystery genre. They still have a bunch of improvements they want to make, so they hope people will keep an eye out for the post-comp release, which they're planning to put out in late November. And they're excited to then move on to their next project, which is Spring Thing 2025. Congratulations! Ninth place. A score of 7.34 from 41 votes. Standard deviation of 1.72. You just spent a month in the nightmare in one of your closest companions. Sorry, let me start that over. You just spent a month in the nightmare in one of your closest companions, telling stories in the dark and keeping him from dying of despair. This game starts on the day you break out. Congratulations to Abigail Korfman for A Dream of Silence, Act 3. And Abigail could not be here today, so she asked me to share her thoughts with you all. It's a lot, so buckle in for a second here. She loved making this. She was somewhat haunted by making it. It's the kind of story that takes root in your brain and refuses to let you do anything else until you make it exist. Creatively speaking, she's very relieved to have finally escaped the Tsar Palace. She's been spending much of October resting in different creative spaces, but will inevitably return to this one because she needs to string this together with the first two parts of the story, and because the dark places you visited are a part of you. And even though it's very important to get out so they can't hurt you anymore, sometimes you need to revisit them to reckon with what happened there. And to murder a vampire lord, that can be an important part of the healing process. It's not an entry to IFComp, being both a fan work of a different game and the third part in a series. Abigail says that she tried her best to make it comprehensible for those who hadn't played the prior parts. She learned a great deal from kind people who left feedback on Act 1, which was part of Spring Thing. She learned many lessons about expectation management. She also got some very good feedback on her last submission to IFComp, a game called The Absence of Miriam Lane. Someone noted that there was a lot of clicking that didn't feel necessary, and they were super right. So Abigail tried to smooth out getting from place to place in this game and liked a lot of the solutions that she came up with. Abigail asked that we give a shout out to a few people who helped create Act 3. She commissioned CYMK8, Dukin Sella, Milton Chamberlain to make art for the game, and they created beautiful things. Janae Masano made the music for the Rising sequence, very kindly offered and composed for free, since at that point Abigail was not allowed to spend any more money on this passion project. A UI UX designer named Carla manifested from the ether and donated an amazing 22-page analysis of how to improve user experience and accessibility, which she has only just managed to implement a fraction of in this and will be using as something of a Bible for a Twine game design going forward. A ton of people let Abigail reference their custom characters from Baldur's Gate 3 to make the achievements, and some of them were even kind enough to run their characters through the scenario in order to give her perspective and ideas. She wishes that she'd had more energy to do run-throughs like that, because it was great fun and made helping Asterion survive and escape feel like a group project that a lot of people were contributing to. A tomb crowded with helpful ghosts. But at a certain point, you just need to finish the game, which Abigail did. And now it's possible to play and escape and live, and that's a victory. Congratulations, Abigail. Eighth place, with a score of 7.47, 57 votes, a standard deviation of 1.31, and this year's Rising Star. Rising Star is for a first-time entrant into the interactive fiction competition who places highest as a first-time entrant. And this year, that is for a game where you have accepted a mysterious invitation for a weekend at a stranger's home. Something about the house feels odd, though. There's clearly magic at work here. Congratulations, Mandy. Would you like to come on mic and say a few words?
Yeah. Wow, I'm verklempt. Thank you all so much. This placing in the top 10 is beyond my wildest dreams. I actually started this game in 2016, got as far as making the first room, and then got a new job and had to stop. And then this year it was my passion project for when I got laid off and was feeling kind of crappy about my writing and my day job, and needed something to work through the creative burnout. So it's all been very healing, and I can't believe that I placed like this. So thank you all so much for playing and rating, and thanks to Jacqueline and all the other organizers. It's really fun, and I can't wait for the next one.
You are so welcome, Mandy. Congratulations. You got a new thing for your CV. Good luck on the job hunt, too. All right. Seventh place. A score of 7.54, 46 votes, standard deviation of 1.08. Grab your whip and swing into a new adventure in the fabulous world of Zork, where you'll encounter mysterious machines, creepy ghouls, green slime, garlic pizza, and more. Congratulations. And I believe we've got authors in the Zoom to come on and say some words. Or maybe not. The authors weren't actually sure if they could be here, so they asked me to share, if they weren't here, that they're having fun at an amusement park with their family today. So might not be able to respond live, probably for the best in terms of background noise. But they're really glad that they got to take part in this year's competition, and wanted to thank the organizers for putting on another great competition this year. You are very welcome. I promise I didn't write that. That's in the remarks. You're very welcome. And they're delighted that people had a good experience playing Hildy. And they owe a big thank you to all of their beta testers and to all of those comp players who decided to give Hildy a shot. Congratulations, Michael. J. Michael. All right, sixth place. A score of 7.65 from 52 votes, standard deviation of 1.56. Alas, it seems that once again, you must take it upon yourself to do the constable's job for them, armed only with your wits and your loyal collie, and solve the case of your own murder. Daniel, are you on the mic?
Yes. Can you hear me? Is this working?
It's working. Go ahead.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you all. This is much higher than I expected this to place. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of murder mysteries, and I've been exploring them in IF, and I think this was my most successful one yet. Dedicated to my grandmother, who's one of the big reasons that I liked the genre in the first place. Yeah, thank you all for playing. Thanks to everyone who tested this. There are a lot of testers to credit, and thanks to the other authors who helped hide the secrets in this game. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Congratulations, Daniel. Excellent. And that brings us to the top 5. Fifth place. Score of 7.84 from 49 votes, standard deviation of 1.72. You've just arrived at the canteen, ready to take up the role of community chef. It's your job to host regular feasts for the people in the village, and to impress your new employers before your month's probation is up. ECOS by Lauren O'Donoghue. Congratulations, Lauren. Lauren, unfortunately, could not join us today, but asked me to say thank you so much to everyone who took the time to play, rate, and review ECOS, and especially to her amazing group of playtesters. Lauren said that this year's entries have been so strong, and it's a real privilege to be part of this supportive and generous community. Fourth place. A score of 7.88 from 51 votes, standard deviation of 1.55. There are some secrets that do not permit themselves to be told. Decipher the macabre enigma enshrouding the final days of Edgar Allan Poe, a tale of Faustian bargains, artistic ambition, and immortality. Under the cognomen of Edgar Allan Poe by Jim Nelson. Congratulations, Jim. I don't believe you're on audio. I think Jim could not be here today. He asked me to express his deep thanks to everyone who played Cognomen and the beta testers who volunteered their generous time and energy. Roverson, Brett Whitty, Amanda Walker, Victor Heispers, and Justin Kim. Congratulations. Top 3. Third place, with a score of 8.14, 50 votes, standard deviation of 1.36, and those of you who are observant in the audience will note that we haven't talked about Miscongeniality, which is the award that is basically the author's preference award for the competition. Some years, the author's votes don't line up with everybody else's votes. This year, they almost did. So this game got third place and also came in third among the authors. Your beloved fashion princess has made an unwise investment, and now monsters roam the streets of the city in this survival horror game. Congratulations to CEJ Pacian. I think you might be in the chat. If you are in the chat and want to say a few words, or if you'd prefer, I can read the note that I have from you. There's Pacian. And for folks who may not be able to read the chat, I'll just go ahead and read this note here. It's a torn diary page. I tried blocking up the power outlets and drains, but golden roots continue to spill into my apartment. It's only a matter of time before they take me, just like all the others. My only regret is that no one will know how important my beta testers were, what a profound impact each and every one of them had. Things would have turned out a lot differently without their input. Wait, what was that noise? Is something... And then the note just ends. I hope you're okay out there. Congratulations. Top 2. Second place. Score of 8.21, 53 votes, standard deviation of 1.41. Miscongeniality first place. So we have a flip-flop here between the authors and everybody else. So that's interesting. V and Aiden have spent their entire lives in a place they call the Den. Hack computers, solve puzzles, and help them work together as a team in this light-hearted adventure with a darker mystery. Congratulations to you, Ben Jackson. I believe we've got you on audio. Want to come on and say a few words?
Hello. Wow. Second place. That's amazing. Thank you so much to everybody that played the game and everybody that voted. A huge thank you to reviewers. I know they put in so much work and give us such great feedback. Thanks so much to the beta testers who really helped to refine the game. But also thanks so much to my very patient wife, June, who was forced to play it several times. And it's really important that, you know, I want to make games that can be enjoyed by hardcore IFers and regular folk too. So yeah, thanks to everybody, and thanks to Jacqueline and the team for organizing all this. Just thanks all around.
Thank you, Ben. Congratulations. All right. It's time. First place. The last game we're going to talk about today. This is from an author who has entered 8 games in the interactive fiction competition over the last 9 years. He has won Miss Congeniality before. He's won 3rd place before. He's won 2nd place before. But he's never come in first until now. With a score of 8.51 from 89 votes and a standard deviation of 1.17, Master Bryce is throwing a party. As his most faithful servant, that means it's your job to make the party run smoothly, but you only have 2 hands and far too many duties. Congratulations to you, Chandler. I don't believe Chandler was able to join us today. I'm just watching the chat for a second. Yeah, I don't see Chandler, but Chandler asked me to thank his supporters, particularly his supporters on Patreon, because without their help, he probably never would have finished the game. Congratulations to Chandler Groover for the bat. Well, that's another year of IFComp on the books. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you in advance for swinging past our 2024 post-competition survey. You can use the QR code on the screen or head to that URL that's on the screen. We will also post this to social media and our blog and the forum and here in the chat. I just hit enter on that. So the URL is now clickable in the chat as well. And that is kind of a wrap. We're going to leave the stream open for, well, till it dies down, basically. See you next year. Feel free to hang out and talk with folks. And we're just deeply glad that you were able to join us today. Thank you to all the authors, all the players and judges, all the reviewers, all the people who helped, everybody. Thanks so much. See you next year.
Totally agree. I think it went really well. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This was exhilarating.
I just wanted to thank you for making this not be a video call.
That's next year.
Yeah, that I was also quite glad of.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for running this.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Congratulations again, everyone.
Well done all.